Good afternoon, everybody. All right, I know it's been a while. New job, trying to settle into things, trying to be more consistent. I know I've already said it. It's gonna happen. I promise. But let's get started on our daily topic, shall we? I know it's old news, but if you're on X, Facebook, Instagram, I'm sure you saw the JD memes, right? Absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. The left thinks that these hurt him. They really do. They think these hurt him. But what do guys do best? They rag on each other. He even threw up a meme of his face on Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the TV. That one. And he goes, hey, it's coming up. That's me. They're going to meme him into the White House. He is going to be the next president of the United States. They memed Trump into the White House on the first one. Okay, in his first term. They're going to do it with JD Vance. Do I think JD Vance is perfect? No, but I think he'll do a good job. Do I think Trump was perfect? No, I really don't. But he's doing a much better job than everybody else. So I think this is going to happen. They're going to meme him in. The left does not have a sense of humor. They don't. They don't have a sense of humor. And because of that, I think it's going to put JD Vance into the White House. The Democrat primary for the presidency in 4 years is going to be an absolute shit show. An absolute shit show. And I can't wait to see it. Right? It's going to be lie upon lie upon lie upon lie. But it's going to be funnier than motherfucker. Because the thing is they can't agree now. They're going to attack each other. They're going to destroy each other. They're destroying their own credibility already. So, Chuck Schumer, for instance, on the CR bill, arguing against it, and then decides, I'm going to go with it. Because, I can't have a government shutdown. Trust me, we want the government shut down. You're never going to notice it, but we want the government shut down. It's useless. It's about as useful as a shit-flavored popsicle. Okay? But when Chuck Schumer changed his tone, all of a sudden all the hardcore communist street animal lefties started attacking him. It's awesome. It's fantastic. So I really do think this will happen. I'm not making a prediction. I'm not making bets, though I do like making bets. I'm not making any bets that the JD Vance is going to end up in the presidency because he got memed there. Not because he's good at what he does, which he is. I think he's done a fantastic job. Yes, he used to be a Trump hater. People change their ideology all the time. It's not uncommon. So I really do think that's going to happen. And I really hope it does. I mean, I think JD has what it takes. All right. Moving on to our next topic. Government time versus real time. Now, if you're wondering what I mean, is even at the speed that Donald Trump is moving at, okay, and he's moving fast, him, Elon, any other MAGA Republicans, which are different from the GOP or the rhinos. I'm going to make that very clear. I'm not a fan of the GOP. I'm not a fan of the Democrats. I like the MAGA movement. I like the Maha movement. But regardless, no matter how fast Trump moves, there's real-time speed and there's government speed. Now, government speed is very, very slow on a normal day. All right? Even with Trump moving the government quick, trying to keep them on their toes, and it is working, but keeping them on their toes, it is still slow. So I'm sure everybody at some point has heard, oh, well, why didn't he do it on day one? He promised stocks would be up at day one, or egg prices would be down on day one. Everything takes time. Okay, there's supply, there's demand, there's implementing something, backing off, regrouping, redoing it to make it better. So there is things that have to happen. Now, that being said, it doesn't matter how fast you move. The government, deep state, swamp, bureaucracy, whatever you want to call it, moves very, very slow. And then you have the opposition. Okay? no matter what, somebody's always going to oppose him. Like he said, he could cure cancer. And guess what? All of a sudden, people with cancer have the right to die. That's how the left thinks. So there's always going to be opposition. It's always going to take time to do something. That is just how government works. Now, is he moving faster than everybody else? Oh, yeah, Trump's kicking ass and taking names. It's going to take time. Okay? We know he only has 18 months. We know it's only been 2 months since he's been in office. And he's already doing a lot more than most presidents have done in 8 years. But things take time when it comes to working in the bureaucracy, rogue judges, regular judges, opposition, Congress, Senate. It takes time. So keep it together and you'll see. I mean, price of eggs already down. Turns out when you cull 110 million chickens, your egg prices are going to go up. Chickens grow up, they grow fast, they lay eggs relatively quickly, generally within 75 days. Yes, I've raised chickens. I know this. This is a fact. Prices are going to start coming down, and they are coming down. So that is a good thing. And we're going to start to see the stock market climb, which it has. If anybody who's ever looked at any just random stocks, not just the Dow Industrial and S&P, stuff's starting to come up. It really is. Shit's starting to come up. Just takes time. Real time. Be patient. You'll see. Probably within the next 6-7 months. Hell, it took Biden a year to destroy Trump's economy, and that was with a pandemic. And did Trump make mistakes with the lockdown? Yeah, but it still took Biden a year to fuck shit up. So everything takes time. Okay, if a cadaver could take a year to fuck shit up, Trump can move a lot faster than that. Now, I'm sure you heard about the Department of Education. This is single-handedly the greatest thing ever. I'm not a fan of the Department of Education. I think it has failed us. I mean, it hasn't really been around that long. Jimmy Carter implemented the Department of Education, and all these Democrats crying that it's gone, but it's not gone. It's not gone. People have just been fired. Offices have been cleared out. It's not gone yet. And I'm sure I have a bunch of friends that agree with the Department of Education. I personally do not. This is an opinion show. Okay, we are going to throw facts in there, but this is an opinion show. You need to do your own research. You need to do your own fact checking. You need to look into yourself. I do not like the Department of Education. But the problem is the Democrats are not putting it into perspective what the Department of Education really is. They're saying that now kids will not get free meals. That is not further from the truth if there ever was one. Because nobody gets free meals. One, there's no such thing as free lunch. Two, as somebody who's been poor, and I mean stupid poor, tried to use the Department of Education to make sure my kid could get a free lunch while he was in school. I made too much money, according to them, and I was below the poverty line, which means my kid couldn't get a free lunch, and I was still fucking poor. So the Department of Education is a bunch of crap. It's a crock of shit. It needs to go forever. Trump will send back to the states. That's how federalism works. That is how it works. So, does that gonna hurt some states? Oh yeah, California's gonna get fucked up. So is Oregon, Washington, most blue states. But there's other states that will do well. Not all red states are great at education. Not all blue states are bad in education. But it is gonna fuck shit up. Okay? For those particular states. Just like Roe v. Wade, it went back to the states. So you can do whatever you see fit within said state. But the left doesn't do that. They love fear-mongering. They don't love education anyways. Because they just want to push their communism street animal ideology. That is just the truth of it. That is 100% a fact. If you don't believe me, do your research. We already talked about Yuri Bezmenov. I have pinned that video to my ex. You can find it, okay? Or you can search it on your own. There's Yuri Bezmenov interview on YouTube. It comes up. There's a million videos of the full interview. I recommend you watch it. It was like watching 1984 instead of reading it. It's just the truth. Now, moving on, we have the Tesla fire bombings, okay, shooting up dealerships, destruction of private property. Let's get into that a little bit. So, I'm sure you've heard, who hasn't, it's on every news channel. You could have been born under a rock and you still know that people hate Elon. Can't figure that one out, but I'm not a pure fan, but I think he's done some great shit, or motivated people to do great shit in his name. When you destroy private property, that is terrorism at its finest. Especially when you're a group of people in the same mindset and somebody is telling you what to do, that is terrorism. Ideologically, culturally, that is terrorism. If it was one man acting on his own and nobody told him what to do, that's different. That's just destruction of private property, vandalism, arson, whatever. But if you've spent any time on X, as I have, again, I'm a terror on X. Find me at From My Kitchen. Everybody's screaming, destroy Tesla. You know, if you see a Tesla, burn it down, dealerships. Some of these people, the private Teslas that are being vandalized, some of these people saved their money. They decided this is what they wanted. Not my personal choice. Being in the automotive industry as long as I have, I wouldn't choose a Tesla. But some people saved their money and this is what they wanted. They wanted one. And then you're going to go out and destroy it? Not okay. Not okay. And this is the leftist doesn't understand, is they don't get it. Okay? They will, just because they want to call the right a cult, and they have their right to do that, and we'll get into free speech next, but this is an absolute ideological death cult. Okay? If you don't have an abortion, you don't kill a baby, you're not part of the left. If you don't firebomb a random Tesla that you find, that this is a cult. This is the definition of a cult, and it's disturbing. They can call the right a cult all they want. Don't care. It doesn't faze me. The right has done some cultish things in my mind. They like to repeat each other, but they're not going out screaming, kill all the lefties, or, destroy, I can't even think good, destroy Facebook. I was picking something at random. So chill out, YouTube. You just don't hear that. They boycotted Bud Light over Dylan Mulvaney. It was just a boycott. They didn't burn down a Anheuser-Busch brewery. That's the difference. That's the difference. Most people on the right want to be left alone. There are some radicals. Don't get me wrong, but the left is in fact a death cult, and they may be a small majority that's screaming and seem like they're big, but there's far more on the left that are cultish than on the right. Which brings me to free speech. I don't know, and I can't even remember his name. There was a congressman, because he is a fucking man, okay, that there was a hearing, and because I'm going to get you some names for the next video, I promise, but he wasn't referred to as congresswoman, and the whole thing blew up, and then goes on and says they live rent-free in the right's head, and they're weird, which is the dumbest insult ever. Everybody's fucking weird, okay? But if that's what you're going to stick with, want to look retarded, you're already mentally unstable, you're a man pretending to be a woman, guess what? You're going to be called out as such. That is free speech. That is how it works. It's because I insult your feelings. That is free speech. 100% free speech. But free speech in its technical term, if we really want to get into it, is the First Amendment is there to protect the people, from the government blocking your free speech. Okay? But if it is not just ideologically, but apparently wrong, okay, if you're a dude with long hair, you're still a dude with long hair. It's really that simple. You can bolt on a set of tits all you want, but you're still a dude with long hair. Now you're just a dude with long hair with tits. That is how it is. Okay? That is effectively how it is. If you think otherwise, then you're fucking retarded. I can't help you. So, but that is free speech in a nutshell, and that is essentially how it works. I mean, we could get far more complicated into it. I'm not a constitutional scholar, but I do understand things in their simplest form. Okay? Hey, maybe one day this podcast gets big enough, we can get Josie, the redheaded libertarian, on here. She is a constitutional scholar. She could tell us how it works. But in its simplest form, that is how it works. Now, maybe you have seen Europe, what's going on in Europe right now. Germany thinks they're bad again. Apparently they want a three-peat. But there was an argument at the UN, what is that called? There's a UN summit. It was a UN summit this last week. And Germany decided they wanted to fork over 800 million or billion or whatever it was. And then shit on the U.S. for saying we finally paid our fair share. Yeah, one fucking time. Okay? You don't get to get all uppity because you finally paid your fair share one time. The point is for it to be consistent. Okay? The U.S. pays 70% the money that goes to NATO as a whole. Okay? What happens when they've been saying we don't need the U.S.? Okay, well, start some shit, see what happens. We ain't going to come to your aid. Even though Germany really wants to just go back to war again, and we're just going to repeat this every 100 years, apparently. They don't have what it takes. And Europe needs American money. If we're up to me, we don't give them any money. The money we give to NATO rarely goes to defense spending. It goes to their welfare states. And that's why you have protesters up in arms. It looks like there's a Muslim takeover in Europe, and there probably is, because they gave them my tax dollars, your tax dollars. That is what's going on there. You don't do the research. Obviously, do the research. Don't take my word for it. But that is what's going on. There is way too much money going to Europe to go to their nanny state. It's absurd. It needs to end. It needs to end. That's why I personally believe we should pull out of NATO. I guarantee you Europe comes crawling back, begging within a year, maybe. And there's going to be huge stipulations if we want to even give them the time of day again. You know, everybody wants to shit on us for deporting illegals. Well, guess what? Europe's got to do the same fucking thing. Denmark. I saw a video of Denmark with hundreds of thousands of Muslims in the street waving what looked like ISIS flags. I don't read Arabic or Sanskrit or whatever it is. I couldn't tell you. But to me, that seems like a perfect time to take Denmark. Trump wants Denmark. I say we take Denmark. It does have it's strategic for America. The oil, the natural gas, the shipping lanes, that close to the Arctic, that close to our number one enemies, Russia, China, most of those communist nations. But I digress. That's going to come at a later date, and we'll see how those things play out. But speaking of protesters, I'm sure you've heard of Mahmoud Khalil. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. He was here on a green card, got caught protesting in New York, got picked up. Well, guess what? Don't have the right. If I go to a foreign country and protest and bitch, the odds are I'm going to jail. The same thing applies here. Not all constitutional rights apply to people with green cards or visas. Okay, we issue those things for you to uphold our laws, right? So everybody crying about it. He was just picked up, went to a black site. He has a wife and kid. Fucking send them back too. Send them all back. I don't give a shit. But the thing is you can't come into a foreign country, be disruptive, and expect good things to happen. Go to Japan and do that. You're going to have been in a cell for the rest of your life. They have a 99% conviction rate because that's how it works. Go to Iran, Scream that you're gay to the top of your fucking lungs because you're going to end up on the top of a fucking building and hit the asphalt with a sudden stop. That is how it works. In other countries, here, we'll just deport your ass. We're actually pretty nice about it, considering. Okay? But if you're going to... I am an anti-communist. If you're going to use your emotional blackmail, it does not work on me. Mahmoud Khalil goes back, send his wife, girlfriend, whatever, who's pregnant, and go back. Go raise them in their fucking country, see what happens. Okay? That is how things work. That's how things will continue to work. If you want to say somebody comes here and has the right to free speech, they sure do, well within the law. They don't have a right to a firearm, though. So only certain constitutional rights apply. Certain ones don't. Only if it appeals to the left. No other. I guarantee you if he started shooting up some people, they probably would have said, oh, yeah, he has a right to Second Amendment. But if something happens and I have to defend myself, I don't have a right to it. That's just how the left works. They are hypocritical as all hell. And if you want to see it in full force, okay, Tim Cast, he runs a channel called Culture War where they put a left and a right next to each other. For the most part, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they talk about other culture issues. But you can watch it in real time as the left breaks down almost all the time because they have their prepared talking points that's downloaded from CNN and MSNBC. And once they get questioned on it, it's all over. They break down. They start screaming. They start calling you names. That's when you know you've won. If you have family members, okay, that just get their talking points from left-wing news and they don't want to expand their knowledge on other things because they're afraid their ideology might be broken, okay, you need to, once you hear them screaming and insulting you, you know you won. You can walk away. It's over. You've won. So, these are things to think about. I'm going to touch one more point before I go today. There's some idiots that still talk about January 6th. There was two sides to every story, and a lot of people ended up, it was a large majority just walking through, okay? Yes, there was some violence on their side, but no policeman died. The only person that died was Ashley Babbitt, who just happened to be going through. But the left never wants to talk about May 29th. That was sedition. They burned down St. John's Church, forced Trump into a bunker, tried to storm the White House grounds. That's truly sedition. Now you're attacking with malice. So, once May 29th comes around, of course, we'll break that down in full terms. But until then, I'll be talking to you guys soon. I'm going to try to be more consistent. The news goes fast these days because Trump ain't slowing down. Elon ain't slowing down. And I can't wait to see more of what Doge does. Everybody have a good day.